No one was safe from the bully, Ken McElroy, as he terrorized the people of a small town in Missouri for years. That is until the town decided to fight back. But this is the true story of how a small town in Missouri exacted revenge on their town bully, Ken McElroy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of my show, Café con Leche. This is episode 9, and it is called Out for Blood, a Town's Revenge on Their Town Bully. So, before we get started, not sure if this is your first time on my channel, but if it is, please hit that subscribe, hit that like, and make sure you drop me a comment after you watch the video. This drops every Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern, and my show is about different topics. I've been covering some serial killers. I've covered some conspiracy theories, but this particular episode 9, is about one town's bully, Ken McElroy. But before we get started, also follow me on TikTok and on Twitter at Top Rope Squishy. I also have an Instagram, but I am not really active there, so that's why I don't really talk about it that much. And also, if you're into wrestling, I have a live show where I recap All Elite Wrestling, AEW Wrestling, on Thursday nights at 7:15 p.m. Eastern. And I invite other podcasters to come on the show and we break down the show together. There's critiquing, there's laughing. It's a lot of fun and it's always live. So make sure you tune in. But anyway, today we are covering the story of this man, Ken McElroy, who for his entire life terrorized a town of Skidmore, Missouri. Well, maybe not his entire life, but most of his adult life. So Ken McElroy, he was born on June 1st in 1934 in Nottoway County, Missouri. He was 47 years old at the time of his death, though. That was pretty young. He was married at the time of his death, and he had 10 different children with 10 different women. And he was married to all 3 of those women as well. He also, the most stunning thing is that throughout all of his crimes, he was indicted 21 times, but he always escaped conviction. Always. The witnesses wouldn't show up or they would change their stories. Everyone said that it was due to him, bullying people, scaring them, sitting in his car in front of their homes, making threats. And they would eventually get scared and not testify against him. So he just kept getting away with it until his final crime in 1981, when he was convicted of attempted murder in the shooting of the town's 70-year-old grocer named Ernest Bowe. He was known as Bowenkamp, and he survived. He was shot in the neck and he survived. But, in case you don't know, this is a little map of Skidmore, Missouri. It's a real small little town. That's how it looked back in the day. These crimes took place between the 47 years, obviously, that Ken McElroy was alive. However, most of his crimes were into his adulthood, obviously. These crimes were happening in, I believe, the 60s, late 60s, 70s, mostly. And of course, with his last crime happening in 1981, or his last conviction, because I'm pretty sure he had many small crimes that he was just never, ever even taken to jail for. Um, prior to the death of Ken McElroy, I don't know why saying his name is so hard. He terrorized the residents of Skidmore by stealing from them, livestock rustling, which, if you don't know what that is, that's stealing cattle. Burglary, of course, same thing as theft. Arson, assault, rape, and child molestation. He was charged 21 times in theft crimes, but avoided conviction every time through witness intimidation, parking his truck at the side of witnesses' homes, or just direct confrontation because he just didn't care. His most heinous crime includes raping a 12-year-old girl. And to avoid rape charges, because he ended up getting her pregnant at the age of 14, he divorced his wife at the time and married the girl at the age of 14 while she was pregnant with their baby. The name of this woman is Trina McElroy. And let me tell you, the parents were not just going to give her up, okay? They were forced to agree to the marriage. He ended up burning their home down and shooting the family dog. And he did it again when she once again ran away, and this time with her baby. He did it again to the family's house and the new dog. So this guy was a fucking terror. Then he shot a farmer, Romaine, in the stomach with a shotgun. He was charged with assault and intent to kill, but at the trial, the two witnesses, who were magically provided by the prosecution, claimed that McElroy was nowhere near the shooting. And because of that, he was found not guilty, which, and of course there was witness tampering, obviously, there. And then in 1980, McElroy shot 70-year-old grocer in the neck following a dispute. What happened was, according to witnesses, McElroy's daughter, small daughter, was stealing candy from the grocer's store. And so they had a confrontation, and McElroy, ended up shooting him in the neck, and the grocer ended up living. But he was arrested and charged. He was finally charged with attempted murder. However, that's Bo. That's Ernest Bo, by the way. However, he was let out of jail while awaiting his appeal. And during that time, he just went around making public threats against the grocer while walking around with a rifle, trying to intimidate the grocer and all of that. So the town knew that they had to put an end to this guy because he would never stop. So this was the town's revenge. So the town secretly met without McElroy knowing in an effort to figure out what they were going to do to get rid of him. And on the morning of July 10, 1981, so about a year after his last major crime where he was still awaiting trial for, McElroy and his wife, Trina, the 12-year-old that he had raped and forcibly married, were at the D&G Tavern for morning drinks, supposedly. I mean, what else would you be doing at a tavern? But it was in the morning, where unbeknownst to Ken McElroy and Trina, a mob of almost 45 to 50 townspeople were gathering outside the tavern waiting for him. He figured what was going on, or he didn't really know what was going on outside, but inside there were people as well. And he allegedly tried to leave the tavern in his truck, but soon after he got in his truck with his wife, the shooting started. He died behind the wheel, but his wife managed to escape. This is a picture of, you see the D&G bar in the background, but that shot up window from that door and truck, that truck's door, excuse me, is Ken McElroy's truck after he was shot to death. So, this is a real picture. And this is a picture of the truck again with the townspeople, looking through the truck and examining it and whatnot. No one called an ambulance. No one came forward, and when questioned, no one saw anything. So to this day, no one was ever charged with his murder. As far as Trina goes, she remarried in 1983 and she moved to Lebanon, Missouri, where she ended up dying of cancer in January 24th, 2012, at the age of 55. Here is a picture of his funeral. As you can see, his son, Trina, who is on the left side with the blonde hair, and all the way on the right is his ex-wife. They all attended his funeral. And funny enough, it's really weird. Trina was the only person who actually came forward with possible suspect of who shot and killed her husband. And it's just shocking that she would even care to find her husband's killer when you take into consideration how she became his husband in the beginning of their relationship. And I can't imagine that their marriage was great. Um, but yeah, that was his funeral. And this is the DNG Tavern today. It is now a food and drink cafe. So, it has taken a lot of changes and, you know, the town has moved on. There's actually a book about this story called In Broad Daylight by Harry N. McLean. Check it out. It will give you more information about what happened in this town. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's story, which I hope you did, please let me know in the comments. Drop me a comment, hit that like button, smash it. And please don't forget to subscribe. If you hit the notification bell, you'll know when I'm dropping more content. So that is it for this show. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in. And until next time, I will see you again. Bye.